We be live. Hello, Durud and Shalom. Guys, we have our group discussion right here. I'm going to jump right in. President Trump seems to have is done with negotiations. It seems like we're heading towards actual escalation right now. If you guys want to join our discussions, the link is in the description. The link is in the QR code on the top left. We have daily group calls. We have group calls every single day. I'm gonna jump right into our group call right over here in our group discussion to see what these people have to say. Oh, okay, great. Amu Jeff is here, so we're gonna see. I want to really ask him if he agrees with me because I think the signs suggest that we're about to head towards major military escalations. I see my favorite people here in the chat. Fantastic. I'm gonna try to keep an eye on you guys as well. So bear with me as I jump right in and see what they're talking about, and if we could steer the conversation into the fact that I really think that what we're seeing right now is major escalation on the way. I know you've been waiting for that for a long time, but let me see if the signs are real. Okay, let me jump right in.
When's the whoa.
Hi, Armin.
Hello. Oh, hey.
Hey.
Missed you guys. Okay, great. Fantastic. My favorite people are already here. Sapir. Oh, look at that. Fantastic. Sapir, how are you? Haven't seen you for a while.
I'm okay. I'm enjoying being in the US. Okay,
fantastic. I mean, maybe it's a great time to be in the US because I think it seemed like there's this. I don't know. It's good that Amu Jeff is here. Before I jump into the topic, I'll ask, who's modding today?
I'm modding.
Okay.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Even though you're on holiday.
Huh?
Even though you're on holiday, Spear.
Yes.
Well, yeah, because now I'm actually awake.
Yes, there we go. Yeah, this is good. Actually, you know what? You actually sound a lot less tired than you usually are, which is fantastic. That's great. Okay, so yeah, it's good that you're here because I want to hear what your opinion on this as well, and everyone else here as well. I don't want to get everyone's hopes up, but it seems like we're heading towards military operations. I don't know when, but it seems like we're heading towards it because the Islamic Republic has given up on negotiations completely. And United States is also signaling at we're not going to get into any deals or anything. Both sides are signaling that a deal seems to be impossible. Negotiations are a waste of time, and there's nothing. We're not going to see eye to eye on anything. To me, suggests that they both understand that they're going to head towards war. And at least from the Islamic Republic side, the way I'm seeing is that they're getting ready for it as much as they can. President Trump coming out on multiple things that he said, he came out and said, we have to accept higher fuel prices for a while. This is worth it. And also President Trump recently confirming that they're not talking to the Islamic Republic anymore. To me, we already knew that a deal is either impossible or very unlikely with these guys, but now that both sides are coming out and saying it outright, like President Trump usually says, we're still talking to them, there's still some hope, we're still not going to give up on potentially reaching a deal or an agreement. But I haven't seen President Trump being this much washing his hands off of it, like a deal or a negotiation. It seems like, because we also have now information that they were talking to everybody. They weren't just talking to Ghalibaf. Apparently, they were talking to the IRGC directly as well. I mean, you guys probably saw the news that Vahidi and the Trump administration were in communication with each other as well through the Barzani, the president of the autonomous region of Kurdistan. Apparently, they were Axios broke that news, and then President Trump confirmed it that yes, that was true. But it's interesting because the Islamic Republic is now denying it, and to deny it, they try to kill Barzani. Barzani, which had a good relationship with both the United States and the Islamic Republic, they bombed his office and where he lived which and his wife and children are there too, were directly targeted by RGC. This was so bad that the Arochi came out and said it wasn't us. This is a false flag operation, probably blaming the Jews. But apparently in Kurdistan region of Iraq, their understanding is that this was the Islamic Republic. But why? It's interesting because why would they bomb Barzani? It seems to me like this, the denial of the IRGC talking to the White House was so important for the IRGC that because this was either leaked or confirmed, they are bombing Barzani to deny that this was happening at all, or to try to kill him for exposing that information. I don't know what's happening, but that was a crazy thing that just happened. Anyways, I do want to hear if you guys think that we're actually are you hearing the drum board? We're going back. Anybody? I think we have some twos in the chat, right? Yeah.
Meanwhile, I was the only one that put a 2. And just a few points about what you said. We know that Pakistan, Turkey, and the Saudis have all blamed Israel for not going enough for the peace talks. That's something that there were multiple reports at. Another thing is that Erdogan, like from Turkey, also tried to talk with Trump today to convince him to go back to peace talks with Iran. So there seems to be pressure, but at the same time, we also saw today an attack from Yemen by the Houthis on Saudi Arabia. So that does imply that things will happen. And the most recent report I've seen from the U.S. is that the U.S. considering to close temporarily a few bases to evacuate till further notice a few military bases throughout the region. So that's also interesting. I'm not sure if we're heading to a full attack yet. I'm trying to be very skeptical because of the history of how many times we heard this little song and dance of like there will be a deal, there won't be a deal. But it does seem like things are starting to progress that way. We also in Israel have increased the amount of attacks in South Lebanon again, even with condemnation. And we have returned to do more operations in Gaza, and that's important because you had Hamas members that infiltrated the yellow line in Gaza that was basically supposed to be in control of Israel. So things are heating up. It does seem that way. If it goes to a full-scale attack, I don't know. I don't think so. Not yet, at least.
Well, not necessarily full scale, but some level. Like I think we're gonna. I mean, the Houthi attack also suggests. I mean, has it been the Houthis or was this?
It was the Houthis. It was confirmed to be the Houthis.
Okay, but that to me, we're going to. To me, it seems like the war is getting more regional, and more players are going to get involved and stay involved, and that's how the Islamic Republic is going to try to get out of the blockade that is in right now. Because right now, the Islamic Republic thinks that the United States just wants to maintain a blockade on it without actually getting too much involved in military operations and suffocate the Islamic Republic to death. And they're trying to use tensions as a way to try to break free from this. And I think the Americans are going to try to find ways to resist increasing tensions too much by just containing the Islamic Republic in this trap that they have them in, and just like keep holding the blockade and keep in the economic isolation, because that's the most efficient, least costly way of getting the Islamic Republic to surrender or bend the knee. But the Islamic Republic is going to try to lash out militarily and try to increase the cost on the Americans for holding the blockade and doing all of this. this containment strategy, because they noticed that if they just keep going like this, at some point it will fall. So they're going to try to get the Houthis, Hashishabi, and themselves, and anyone else, Hezbollah, anyone they can, to try to find a way to increase the cost to the Americans. And the more they try and the more they see that it didn't have the cost that they were hoping for, the more extreme measures they might end up taking to get the Americans to go back to war with them, instead of just this endless blockade and isolation that they have inflicted upon them. This is my understanding of what the Islamic Republic is thinking.
The thing is, and that's, again, we're going back to the mentality of the Middle East. So Iran has been attacking ships constantly. They didn't stop. They never stopped. And the US hasn't responded properly to that. The US has been talking a lot of shit. So is the Islamic Republic. But Islamic Republic at least kind of backed it up with actions. The US looks very, very weak. And we have reports. We have Syria requesting to start their nuclear program. We have tensions between different countries and protection deals between different countries in the Middle East. And it very much, like you said, it's a very regional thing, but it also gives legitimacy to the IRGC. It looks like the US is scared of them, and that is the general feeling, not just in Israel but in the Middle East as a whole, that the US is too weak and too cowardly to do stuff. And if the more they won't do it, the more they won't do shit, the more it's going to get worse, and the attacks by Iran will be worse. Because by all means, the US has every justification to attack. Many international ships been struck by the IRGC at this point. Missiles were sent by the Houthis or by Hezbollah, by the proxies, for multiple days now. They have all of the means and all of the reasons to attack back, and we're not seeing it yet. So it's either they're going to plan something big, or they genuinely do not understand how the Middle East works, because this is going to keep getting worse.
Yeah, I don't agree with that take, but let me just quickly say, I don't agree with that take, because at the end of the day, the way United States looks matters less than what's actually happening. And what's actually happening is that United States has found a very efficient and very inexpensive way to cause maximum damage to the Islamic Republic. So if I was the United States, I wouldn't choose a more expensive, less effective way to fight with my enemy, because of how I look like. Optics do matter, but not to that level. If I'm like, I'm low on munitions, so I don't want to keep like doing this and like keep using my munitions, and without using much of my munitions, and without causing too much damage to oil markets, and without messing up with the midterms, I could just hold this blockade, and I'm watching my enemy like struggle with it. Like, why would I this is a really good place for me to be in. Like, why would I change that because other people are saying that America looks weak? Okay, like, I don't, I should care, but I don't care as much as me watching my enemy die in such an efficient way. Like, why would I change strategy?
Because it adds pressure from different countries. Because when other countries feel like the IRGC is not dying, and that the US is too weak, and they start to put pressure both on Israel and the US to go for more peaceful ways, because they keep having
What pressure?
They keep having their stuff getting struck.
Wait,
Well, we have
what
the
pressure-
Saudis.
Sorry. What pressure can they put on United States?
They mainly will put it on Israel, and that's a problem because
What
then
pressure?
the proxies will dare. There's a lot of political pressure, on Israel to that they're not doing enough to further peace in the region, that they are going to ruin peace deals with Iran, that they need to stop attacking. And at the same time, we're seeing more Hezbollah attacks and more Hamas attacks that are getting worse. And like I said, the infiltration of the yellow line, that has been a major thing that shouldn't have happened. And at the same time, it seems like Israel is also not responding properly because that international pressure to not act too much, not ruin the peace talks. And this is a thing that affects the work. This is why it's really important in the Middle East, because how you look in the Middle East is incredibly important for the moves that every country will do.
Okay, I still don't understand. Okay, so let's dissect this one by one. Okay, so pressure on United States. What pressure on United States is meaningful pressure? Like, what country exactly is putting what pressure on United States here? Political.
Okay. Let me be clear.
Yeah.
It's more pressure on Israel. More than anything,
okay, so
it's pressure on
let's put that
Israel.
aside. So if it's pressure on Israel, then United States is not feeling that much of a pressure. So people's feelings that United States is weak is not that relevant, because United States is noticing that the strategy is working, and if people are feeling differently, United States shouldn't adjust its behavior based on people's feelings, right? Pressure on Israel, political pressure on Israel, I don't think has always been there. It doesn't matter what Israel does. Israel will always be at fault, according to the same people who would, like most people. Like, I mean, I think Israel is used to political pressure. So I don't know how that. If we're talking about internal political pressure, that is meaningful pressure. External political pressure, I don't know why Israel should care about that right now. Internal, like Israelis being upset with Israeli government, yeah, sure, that's a meaningful. But right now, I think Israel is not too worried about external political pressure. Military pressure by Hezbollah, for example, that actually supports the U.S. position, right? Because you're like, oh, Israel, Hezbollah is attacking Israel right now. Okay, well, the financial pressure that Israel is putting right now on the Islamic Republic, and also is exactly how you get less of that. Hezbollah is having a very, very difficult time rearming itself, is exactly because of the isolation that United States has put the Islamic Republic under right now. So if we're talking about military pressure from Hezbollah, the current isolation is being very effective. So I still don't see what the issue here is, right? Like, Hezbollah is weakened, Hamas is being weakened. I do agree with the criticism against United States regarding what Jared Kushner did in Egypt with Hamas leader. That was like embarrassingly stupid. But when it comes to the Islamic Republic, I still don't see, if I'm the United States, why should I be changing my position? Why should I be changing my position right now? The isolation is working. The economic blockade is working. Why should I change this position right now? Yeah.
Well, if you've seen yesterday, the Washington Post also reported that Saudi, the Emirates, Qatar, Kuwait, and Bahrain have been discussing on physically taking out any American military forces from the bases in their countries, which personally, like, I'm not the military expert, Jeffrey is here, but to me it seems like they do not trust the US enough to protect them, and they're trying to get the US out of their countries because they're afraid the IRGC will start bombing them again.
Doesn't that work well with the Donro Doctrine, though? Like, isn't that what the President Trump wants for these countries to stop being so reliant on U.S. security and figure out do more for them to commit to securing themselves in the area? Wouldn't that be in line with that?
That's a good question, and that's a thing that I don't think I know enough about, and I cannot answer.
Okay, but great points, though, Sapir. Like, I think this was very good back and forth, right? Like, I think I really enjoyed talking to you about this. I hope like I didn't come off as too aggressive or anything. Did I come off?
What? No, not at all.
Okay.
No, I hope I don't come off as aggressive. I'm passionate.
No, no, I don't mind being you being aggressive, but this is good. This is good. Let's hear other people talk as well, because I saw a couple of twos in the chat.
Okay, sorry, yeah. Jose, that's your turn now.
We're just having a sandwich. Okay. Now the original topic is, what do I think about what's happening, and is this going to lead into an attack? Correct, Armin?
Yes.
Okay, this is what I actually think. When the Washington gets in to range, they'll have 3 carriers, and that'll be the ultimate again, like they did last time when they came in the first time for bombardment. They had 3 carriers in the area. So I think we're waiting for the Washington. After the attack goes off, it'll give the Abraham Lincoln, who has been forced to retreat, 30,000 with 60,000 AWOL, according to the IRGC, and one of their latest whatevers. Okay, give them a final chance to say "F you" to the IRGC, and then start heading home, which will take care of 2 things on the way that they go home. Okay, they'll be able to take the Washington's place in the Philippines before heading back, or they can stop at Subic Bay and replenish in Subic Bay, because I know that base has been reopened in the Philippines recently. So basically all we have to do is wait for the Washington to get there and see what happens. It could be another week, I think, if I remember correctly, like early next week before they actually are in range. But I wouldn't expect the Abraham Lincoln to pull out before that carrier shows up. That's all I got.
Okay. Next is Samantha. She wanted me to read something out. What about military actions against Hizbah? You mean Hezbollah?
Hezbollah, just it as Hezbollah. Again, please just call them Hezbollah so other people who are listening to us could know what we're talking about. That's great. Thank you. Go. Okay.
What about military actions against Hezbollah? Can we go back to military actions against Hezbollah? I mean, we are doing it, just mainly in the south. We need to go back to Beirut.
By the way, can I just tell you something about southern Lebanon? There was a video that is now going viral on Iranian social media. Is from this woman in full chador, like hijabi chador, on Iranian state TV, and it's really it's getting so viral that the Islamic Republic is trying to somehow say it was taken out of context, but we watched it in the full context, and it was basically exactly what it sounded like. And basically the lady, and again, I don't know if you guys realize how big of a deal this is in Iran, but I'll tell you, this is a big deal, right? So the lady came on the Islamic Republic State TV, and it said all of these traitors who are saying southern Iran is getting bombed, southern Iran is getting bombed, will sacrifice southern Iran for southern Lebanon. So she declared that, we are willing to sacrifice southern Iran for the sake of southern Lebanon. And this is now going viral on Iranian social media, and it's the state TV is coming out and trying to fix this, but so many Iranian people are so angry over this that especially because she started talking to us. Okay, so the clip started talking about the people, Iranians inside Iran, who are asking Trump for help. And then she called them traitors and people who are selling out their country, right? Constantly talking about southern Lebanon being southern Iran being bombed. And she said, we're willing to sacrifice southern Iran for southern Lebanon. And people are like, yeah, you keep telling us that we're anti-patriotic, we're sellouts. Right after calling us that, you just told everybody that you don't care about Iran, you care about Lebanon. Anyway, so this is a big deal because Iranians care so much about their land and so much about somebody giving up land and talking about their land like that. This is now has caused major backlash. Anyways, just thought you guys might want to know. All right,
that is brilliant. Jeff,
yeah,
that's your turn.
I'll show it on at least
Jeffrey?
section. Jeffrey, I'm Jeff.
Yeah. Hey guys. So, I mean, definitely having more carriers in the region gives you more flexibility. Again, I would contend if, being able to have a comprehensive air campaign against the Mullah regime remnants, or even, well, including and its proxies, including the Houthis and Hezbollah, all the rest of them, very much would be a lot easier if we just leveraged all of our heavy bombers. Yeah, you can definitely have those carriers in theater because they allow you to maintain the operational pressure, so the Mullah regime and its proxies can't adapt, reconstitute. Again, like if they did like an extended 5x5 with a couple extra high and low intensity pulses of our heavy bombers. So instead of 120 hours, we want to include like the Houthis and Hezbollah. Yeah, I mean, that could probably be done in like 10 days tops. And then what would happen is the Middle East would become very quiet very quickly because the Mullah regime is completely obliterated. All of the Houthis get obliterated, whatever's above ground and whatever they're at. And Hezbollah gets obliterated. I mean, there's going to be pockets and bits and pieces. I mean, there's no way to kill them all unless you like blanket the air, say fully autonomous weaponized drone swarms, which would be something I would do. That said, we're still building that out. We're actually in the process of building that out for these kinds of operations in that region. That's all I'll say about that. I'm saying if, like there's time compression we have to operate within with the broader geopolitical and geostrategic environments. There's that kind of compression, right? Putin doing his stuff in the intermarium, Chaikom's against the Mullah regime, all the dumb shit going on in the Korean Peninsula. I mean, the list goes on and on. So, yeah. I mean, as far like that's what I would do as far as like just that would be over, like very decisively. I would have a decisive policy that would eliminate these things very quickly, and it would be over very quickly, and then we can focus our efforts other places. As far as like what the Gulf states and other people are like, well, we're concerned because like the Mullah regime is attacking us because of what America's doing or Israel's doing. That's horseshit. I mean, the Mullah regime has been attacking everything and everybody about it since its existence. I mean, the Mullah regime with its Houthi proxies used small quadcopter drones to attack Saudi refinement back in like, I think it was 2018 or 2019. That's years before Operation Midnight Hammer or Epic Fury or any of the other stuff. I mean, there's been constant tension between the Mullah regime that's illegally occupied Iran since 79 and the House of Saud for decades. I mean, just take a look at what goes on in Bahrain. So I don't know. It seems like a very warped interpretation based on some, kind of fanciful, delusion that, well, if we just sit there and don't align with America, then maybe these bad guys that have been attacking us for decades, won't attack us anymore. I mean, that's fucking crazy. Doesn't it seem crazy? It seems crazy to me. Maybe I'm misunderstanding that.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Can I say something real quick, Carmen?
You're the admin. You're the mod. I should be asking you.
Okay. It's less about being afraid of getting attacked by the IGC. It's more about losing faith in the US. What I am mostly afraid of, it's gonna be more like internal agreements, things that they're gonna start hiding from the US because they don't trust them anymore. But obviously, it's more complicated than what it seems. Okay. Shauna.
Well, there's a couple of things. One of the things that Trump is trying to balance is you have within his base, it's not people who are isolationists. I'm not talking about the isolation. I'm not talking about isocucks. I'm just talking about people who are leaning more on that side of isolationists, but they're not full blown, they don't think America should never get involved. They're not that, but they are a little bit more timid. They're afraid of the forever wars. They're getting media propagandized that this is Afghanistan 2.0, blah, 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 blah. You have that in his base. You also have people like me who just want to go balls to the walls. And, I'm not the one who should ever be making these decisions because I don't have military experience. But I'm constantly wanting to go hard and heavy and just take care of it. And I don't necessarily have all the details. So the reason I bring that up is that Jeffrey brought up the time period of about 10 days. What I find, and Jose kind of mentioned something about that as well, kind of hinted at that as well. The reason why that's really interesting, though, from a local perspective, is that in the next 10 days, everybody's going to be going back to school, which means that Jessica is going to be loading up her little van and taking her kids to soccer or taking them back to school shopping and doing all of that stuff. What I'm saying is that people, if he wants to strike in about 10 days, is going to be the perfect time to do it because people are not going to be paying attention quite yet. It's going to be the most distracted America is going to be because everybody's going back to school. All of the people who vote that live in the suburbs, they're going back to school. So that is just something that I kind of wanted to think about as well, is if he wanted to strike, then in about a week would be about the time to do it. And then kind of the end of August through Labor Day would be the perfect time to do it. And then his hands might be politically tied in terms of political capital until after the elections. And so I just kind of want to keep that in mind, that he is looking at these things. This is a media personality. So I'm not saying that it's 5D chess or anything. I'm just saying that that might be something, not that specific thing, but just knowing internally kind of America's schedule, if that makes sense. Yeah. So just throwing that out there.
Love the new profile picture. Look very clean. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Shauna. Elijah, sorry.
Hi, my name's Elisa. How you guys doing?
Elisa. Okay.
Great.
So I wanted to circle back to Armin. I think the original topic was the U.S. military response and when that might happen.
Yes.
Okay, so there's a couple of things to take into consideration as far as the military response, right? So one is that remember that Trump in his bones is a deal maker, right? He's all about making deals. I put the Mecca agreement as my topic, so I'll dive into that later when it's up for rotation. But look at but I just wanted to point out all the different ways that Iran or the Islamic Republic, excuse me, the how the Islamists have been isolated right now. So they have been extremely constrained across like 6 different domains, right? You have the economic pressure, you have the energy pressure. They haven't been able to export hardly any oil. You have the diplomatic and political pressure coming in from the Mecca joint agreement. And then, of course, their military has been degraded. Their proxies are being removed from the board. Hezbollah has been weakened significantly. Hamas is disarming, or is going to disarm. We'll see about that. But overall, Iran is being, excuse me, the Islamic Republic is being constrained from so many different directions that that is more significant than just the kinetic military response. That's just one of the many layers of war fighting. This is like 5th gen warfare. So you can't just look at the kinetic action. You have to take into account the economic and the political and political action as well.
Yep, perfectly summarized. That was pretty good. Thank you. Great to have you here.
Thank you, Alyssa. Digel?
Thank you. I get what you said as far as Trump being a deal maker, and he in his heart of hearts, he wants a deal. You can't have a deal with these people. It just can't be done. And if he honestly still believes that at this point, as opposed to it just being a tactical ruse, then he's a fool. So I would prefer to believe that it's just a tactical ruse, and that he's got something else planned for this. That would be the optimal situation, because it's time to take these people out. You got to decapitate the regime. Simple as that. I also want to say, also want to comment on his annexation of the Strait of Hormuz. What everybody thinks about that, is that for real? Is it just words he's yelling to the sky? What is? I'd like to hear Jeffrey's views on that. Actually, what do you think about that? What do you think he's planning with that?
Before Jeff responds, I do want to say that I know it's a joke, but it's not a good joke, and I know people are going to say it doesn't matter. I mean, it's just a joke. In Iran, talking about violating the border integrity of Iran is not going to be received very well. I understand that that's a joke. I understand he didn't mean it. I understand some people say like, oh, if you can't deal it, then I don't know, fuck you, that you can't deal with the joke. But as an Iranian who knows how this is going to be used by the Islamic Republic and how it's going to be seen by so many Iranians, this does more harm than good. And if you don't care about it, well, then I don't care that you don't care about it. I just know that this does a lot more harm than good. This is a joke that does a lot more harm than good, in my opinion. But go on, Jeff.
Agreed.
So it's not a joke. That said, it's being misrepresented. Donald's not going, we're going to turn the Strait of Hormuz into a territory for America that we're just taking, we own it all. It's very much in the same context of liberating that area from the mullah regime so that we, in the interim, are stewards over that. It's almost like putting that in escrow, again, for those countries, including the mullah regime, well, not the Mueller regime, forgive me, Iran, and Ajda, that, you know, the Iranian people who are, that the Mueller regime is, remnants is currently still oppressing, albeit not for much longer, hopefully. Right? We're denying the Mullah regime resources. We're not taking things away from Iranian people. Just like if we were to, you know, liberate and or have forces on Karg Island or drain Karg Island of oil, it's not like we're going, wow, we're stealing the oil because we want to steal shit from Iranian people. We would drain the oil from Karg Island because it denies the Mullah regime a couple of things. One, it denies them a strategic like island that they use in part, not just the oil part. They have people there observing stuff to kind of track commercial shipping. Two, it denies the Mullah regime resources that it then uses to oppress Iranian people. And three, it denies the Mullah regime and or regime remnants the ability to leverage, say, the 32 million barrels of oil that can be stored on Karg Island as a potential means to engage in regional, environmental, and ecological terrorism. Like, nobody's looking to steal stuff from the Iranian people, least of all President Trump or this administration. That said, given the nature of the conflict, right, that we are forced to respond to vis-a-vis the Mullah regime, now regime remnants, consistent multi-decade long campaign of aggression against us, our Israeli Gulf state allies, and everything else around it, and least of all Iranian people, we have to focus on the resources that the Mullah regime steals, that the Mullah regime steals and then misuses to sustain itself, to continue on carrying on all that bullshit. So it's not a joke. Like, he means it. He just, the nature of how that, what defines that is being willingly misrepresented by any number of never Trumpers and or a biased mainstream media that is thinking that anything to sit there and undermine Donald, right? Anything to help him with the midterms. Doesn't matter if you win the midterms. The patriotic bloc is done with you leftist fucks. We're done with you.
I'm with
I would
Jeff.
suggest, no, I'm just like, I hope you understand where I'm coming from, right?
Yes, of course. Is this a joke or not a joke? Because I think this part is a joke. I mean, I hope it's a joke. So this is the quote.
No, what?
Well,
Oh,
let me read the quote, right? This is a quote from President Trump. After we finish defeating Iran, which is being very badly defeated, pretty soon I'll be declaring the Hormuz Strait a territory of United States. That is the quote by President Trump. That is obviously a joke, right?
no, I think that, again, it very much reflects exactly what I said.
Wait,
right? We're trying to be good stewards over regions and resources the Mullah regime has co-opted or misused, and even in the post-Mullah environment, help assist Iranian people, like help assist the transition.
Okay. No, I heard that part.
From the Mullah regime to a post-Mullah regime environment. I mean, we don't want to leave a power vacuum for any other number of assholes to then come in and set and carve up Iranian resources piecemeal, whether it's the Chaicoms or Putin or pick anybody. We're trying to make sure that people don't steal your resources.
I already
we want
heard
that for Iranian. Well, no, I'm saying, like, even after the regime is defeated, still we have to make sure that in the transition, you get it?
I already get that, and I agree with you. That's not what you do not. The official term for that is not declaring some place a territory of United States. That's not how that is described at all. Like, being good stewards and providing stability and security, obviously, that's what the United States does best. That is not referred to or defined as or described as some place officially being declared as territory of the United States. Nobody refers to what you rightfully described as the positive role of United States in an area. nobody that refers to that as making a place a territory of United States. That is not the accurate description of what you rightfully just mentioned. All right. So either this is a joke,
So what
or
would be the correct term?
what you just said earlier. You don't call a place that you're being good stewards of, or providing stability for, or helping the people that in that territory. You don't call that making this officially a territory of the United States, right? Like, for example, you don't say Israel is a territory of the United States just because the United States is providing help to Israelis to provide stability with that area. You don't say that, right? So saying this, the Strait of Hormuz is not a territory of any country. It's international waters, right? So either that is a bad description of what is what you just said, what you accurately said. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't. I'm Jeff. I'm talking to you. You don't need to write it in the chat. I'm gonna talk. We're gonna talk to each other, right? So those are. I know those are not the same things. That's my point. That those are not the same things. You're saying those are not the same things. Yeah, that's my point. Saying that we're going to be stewards of an area, good stewards of an area, is not the same as saying this is officially our so okay, somebody's saying temporarily. Temporarily is not in the in the quote. So maybe Koala Katie, maybe you would be a better way, you would be able to describe that better than President Trump if you put temporarily there. But he didn't say that. Okay. So either this is a really bad joke, okay, which does more harm than good. And I know it does more harm than good because I understand Iran. And if you say you don't care about it, okay, well, I don't, some people are like, oh, I don't care if some Iranians would get upset over this. Well, okay, I don't care that you don't care, you don't care. I care about the Iranian people, and I know that this does harm more than harm than good. So either this is a joke, or this is a very bad way of describing what Amu Jeff was describing. But yeah, Amu Jeff, territory of United States, a joke or not a joke?
So again, I mean, I get the point about the phrasing. You would rather like ratify the UNCLOS. I think that's what it is. Forgive me. Uncle Jeff is still recuperating from traveling. We'd also have to work with a mom, which clearly has shown that it's like less than a honest broker. So it's kind of like, how do we sit there and deal with those spoilers? How do we deal with spoilers? Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying you're not wrong in the sense of how it can be misrepresented. It's more like, how do we position ourselves in such a manner that we can provide in this case, the regional good of stabilizing this area and ensuring that other spoilers don't carve it up for themselves in direct opposition to the Iranian people who have historically owned these different areas, right? Without getting bogged down in all kinds of stupid shit that any number of actors have shown clearly they would like and indeed do use to undermine our efforts. I mean, okay. That's a question that has to be answered.
No, I appreciate you saying that. Before we go to the next two, I just want to respond to some people here. Sarah saying, hanging on every word that Trump says doesn't support any cause at all. Sarah, not taking the effect of the words out of the mouths of the most powerful man in the world, not taking it seriously, that doesn't support our cause at all. It's the opposite of what you're saying. Thinking about the effects of the words uttered by the most important, most powerful man in the world is actually exactly what we should be doing, thinking about the effect of that. Those words are powerful and it has a lot of effect, so it's important to care about that. Texas Troop is saying he was trolling the IRGC to elicit a response. Okay, if he was trolling the IRGC, he doesn't know how to troll the IRGC because the IRGC loved that. The IRGC loved that President Trump said that. If President Trump was trying to troll the IRGC, he did the opposite of trolling the IRGC. That trolled the Iranian people. So again, we got a super chat from the Boboism saying, "No joke, trolling, poking the bear." Yeah, the people, the IRGC was not poked at all. The IRGC could not believe that President Trump gave them such a gift to troll the Iranian people with. That post, that comment by President Trump has been a gift to the IRGC to troll the Iranian people with. And again, William is saying he's just trolling the regime, Armin. Well, it didn't troll the regime. If he was trying to troll the regime, it did not troll the regime. It trolled the Iranian people. Because trolled it. Look at what you guys are saying. He trolled. Okay, somebody's using all caps here. Let me time them out for using put user in timeout. Do not lose our all cap in my chat, please, to make your point. By saying he was trolling the IRGC, that makes you not understand the IRGC, because you think that IRGC cares about border integrity. The IRGC doesn't care about border integrity. The IRGC knows how much the Iranian people care about border integrity. So this was a win for the IRGC to troll the Iranian people with. This was not at all trolling the IRGC. This was trolling the Iranian people. I saw another 2 in the chat. Who's next?
Yeah, but I already closed response because we have many topics today. So I basically wanted to go for super chats.
But right before we go to super chats, I just want to because I think it was Dejal wanted to say something. Is it okay? But
yes.
Okay. But before we hear Dejal, somebody's saying, I think this is overanalyzing. You guys say that every time you don't like what I'm, it's only overanalyzing. So I praise Trump a lot. Okay. And sometimes I analyze a lot when I praise Trump, and you don't call it overanalyzing. But when I'm telling you that this is not overanalyzing, this is very simple. Okay. Talking about the border integrity of Iran and challenging it this way makes you lose the Iranian people. And if you don't care about losing the Iranian people, I understand that you don't care. I know Iran. I understand the Iranian people. It's very simple. It's only overanalyzing if you're making this seem like overanalyzing because you're on the other side of TDS. We have some people who have TDS, meaning that they can't handle any praise of Trump. Then we have people on the other side, okay, that they can't handle any criticism of President Trump. If you can't handle this is not overanalyzing. This is pretty straightforward. Threatening the border integrity of Iran makes you lose the Iranian people. How is that overanalyzing? You have to be very simple-minded if you think that's overanalyzing. And I'm not gonna. This is not something that I'm gonna. I know the Iranian people, and I know that this is the most sacred thing to them, and this is something I refuse to give in on. If you don't like it, if you don't like me criticizing President Trump, this is a loss. This was a mistake, and if you don't understand that, it's your misunderstanding, if your lack of understanding of how Iranian politics works. And I think you're being too sensitive over criticizing President Trump. Right? I'm telling you that I know what I'm talking about. And if you don't care about that, okay, I understand. But anyways, Dejal, sorry.
Yeah, no problem, man. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Armin. You're concerned about how this is going to be taken. It makes sense. Territorial integrity is paramount to the Iranian people, and there's a lot of Iranians who are going to look at this and see it as a potential threat to that territorial integrity, regardless of Trump's intents. I don't think it's a joke. I think it's a position he is using to somebody's using to stick it to the IRGC, and if genuinely pursued, is, I believe, an absolute escalation in the war. And if genuinely pursued, it does take us over the line, across the event horizon of the point of no return. The bad thing about this is, besides potentially pissing off the Iranian people, is that if it's not genuinely pursued, insofar as actually taking control of the strait, if only temporarily, of course, seeing as this is a war and war involves taking territory, then Trump will look weak, fundamentally weak, if he does not do this, and it is just basically a troll to the IRGC. Like it will look ridiculous no matter what Trump's actual intent, long term or not, really is. So I get what you're saying. Yeah, I could see how a bunch of Iranians could look at this and see it as a violation, or at least how they could be afraid of how others will see it as a violation of territorial integrity. So I get where you're coming from. Absolutely, but it is an escalation if generally pursued.
Yes,
and that's a good thing.
And I say this as somebody who praises President Trump. I'm so grateful for everything he has done to damage the Islamic Republic. I also want to, and I agree with you, Dajjal. And also I want to say, Sean, I really appreciate you saying that, because I know how much you support President Trump. Sean is saying, I get it, Armin. It's not perfect optics. Thank you so much, Sean, for understanding that this is just a criticism and I'm not anti-President Trump. I really appreciate you saying that. And also, I want to answer Texas Troop saying, Armin, can you explain how it threatens territorial integrity when it's an international waterway and no one owns it? Okay, maybe I'm not explaining this very well, and this is my fault. It is not a threat to the territorial integrity. It creates the impression to many Iranian people who are not following the news like you and I are, who might understand these things, who might look at the United States with godlike abilities that could do whatever it wants. For many Iranians who are just living average lives, who do not understand that the United States is never going to come and take the Strait of Hormuz and make it into the United States. Many Iranian people who are just simple people living simple lives, being busy with things, who know that they care about the border integrity of Iran, who might not know this, what you're saying, right? For them, this creates an impression that maybe the Americans are actually interested in our land, not our liberty. Maybe the whole reason why they came and killed Khamenei and the IRGC and all of that, maybe it was actually, maybe there's some truth to what IRGC is saying. Maybe they're here because they want to actually take over their land. Okay, you're right that the Americans are not interested in that. You're right that this is not a threat to the territorial integrity of Iran, but it provides ammunition to the Islamic Republic to create the impression to some Iranians that they are. And that would be a win for the Islamic Republic. Even though you're right, I 100% agree. There is no actual threat to the territorial integrity, right? But you're right. And okay, super chat time. Okay. But thank you, Fit Over 50, for 10 joules. I appreciate that. And Elisheva, thank you so much for the super chat, saying Sapir is referring to the fact that Israel has not been allowed to fire at Hamas. Nick's crossing. Oh, something, I don't know. Crossing the yellow line. Yes. And I know a lot of Israelis are upset with that and think that they're being held back. Fit Over 50 Fitness, thank you so much for the jewels. Boboism, again, thank you so much for the super chat, saying it was not a joke, trolling, poking the bear. And then Arash, thank you so much for the super chat, saying IRGC is okay with ruling over Iran even if it's in ashes. Yes. Yes. As long as they could be in rule. They need to, as long as they're in charge. Okay, what's the next topic? Also, Ali, let me just read this. Ali from Iran is saying واقعا حرف ترامپ تاثیر خاصی نداشت آرمین جون چند تا ویدیو ارزشی دیدی حتی که بحث he's claiming that he's like very pro Trump. He's saying Trump's words didn't actually make that much of an effect. Ali, just because you don't see the effect, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have an effect. So don't stop. I love you, but stop representing your personal experience as if it's like statistically significant. Okay, sorry, next topic.
Okay, next is Kathy with AMK, stop execution in Iran.
Yes. So this is something I've noticed on all social media platforms. MEK has been using our slogan to gain notoriety and confusing people in the West who otherwise wouldn't know better. So I've been bumping into a lot of videos where they're using stop executions in Iran or Javi Nums or those particular slogans that we've been using and taking advantage of them. And I just want to create awareness around this, so those who don't know the difference know what to look for. They'll typically have their symbols in their videos or in their protests or rallies, whatever you want to call them. That I just want to create awareness around that. MEK is they're not good people. They're actually worse than the Islamic Republic. And as far as I'm concerned, they betrayed Iran twice. First in the 79 revolution and second during the Iran-Iraq war. So they're not our Javinums, and they don't represent the Iranian people. They will never represent the Iranian people. And I just want everyone to be aware of what's going on.
Wait, so who doesn't represent us? The people who died from the MEK?
MEK does not represent us.
Yes.
Even though they're trying, even though they're using our slogans, they're creating confusion.
They're actually using the word Javidnam now. Is that? Are you?
I saw a couple of hashtags attached to like TikTok videos and Instagram and Facebook. Those hashtags attached.
Okay.
Well, and I just want I want people to be aware.
Yes, guys, please be aware. Thank you, Kathy. Be aware of anything MEK related. MEK is an Islamic Marxist cult, which is very odd that among all in the politics of the United States, a Marxist Islamic cult managed to find friends in the Republican Party, not the Democratic Party. That is very bizarre that they managed to do that. The fact that the people who are the most loyal to the MEK within U.S. politics are all Republicans, literally no Democrats, and all Republican. An Islamic communist cult is bizarre. And let's name some names, right? Mike Pence, Rudy Giuliani, Mike Pompeo. No, wait, what is the? No, Bolton. Sorry, John Bolton, and Pompeo actually, and who else? I think I got them all. The main ones: Pence, Pompeo, John Bolton, Rudy Giuliani. Did I miss anybody? These have been bought out by the MEK. Oh, Sean, we got a two.
No, I think you got them. Yeah. You got them covered.
I got them. Yes. Okay. Sapir.
Okay. Are there any super chats?
No, we have a 2 in the chat.
Do we?
Yes, Sean.
It doesn't.
Oh, maybe.
Okay.
Yes.
I will disconnect and reconnect, but Shana, you can go ahead meanwhile.
I just wanted to say that, thank you so much for that information, Kathy. It's really important to know. I will say that part of that is because the Republican Party, when it wasn't really necessarily small government. There were, when the neocons came in, I'm not blaming all neocons, but when some of the neocons came in, there was a bunch that were more socialistic than others. So it's not 100% surprising. And yes, you could say maybe that it was just a cheap buyout, and that's probably true of some of them as well. But yeah, there's always been elements within the Republican Party that had a more socialistic leanings that were basically, I mean, we call them rhinos. You can call them like I don't know, Democrats, except basically. There's always been that. I mean, look at like Fuentes, for example. He's a racist. That's the biggest issue with him. But he's not small government. He doesn't believe in liberty. He doesn't believe in any of those things. So, just to keep that in mind, like it's not actually that surprising that they were able to infiltrate, because they would have had to find they would have had to find a base somewhere, and if the IRGC was already infiltrated into the Democrat Party, it makes sense for the MEK to go into the Republican to try to infiltrate there.
Okay. I got another two. Kathy? Oh, no.
Wait, Halda.
Halda, sorry. Oh, you're back, Sapir. Okay.
I'm back.
Hi, all. Thanks, Kathy. Thanks, Armin. I also wanted to say, if anybody is really active on X, it's become a real problem with, IRGC members, bots, whatever you want to call them, and MEK members trying to join supporters' accounts, faking, who they are. And they usually have, specific telltale signs in their profiles so that we could identify them pretty quickly. However, if you're ever confused, there's some really nice dissidents, and they will actually help you, clean out your, follower list if that's something that concerns you. But I've found it to be really surprising how hard they work to try to follow supporters. I mean, I just find that really just awful. But thank you again, Kathy.
Okay, now Kathy.
Thank you, Hulda. Yeah, I have noticed a rise in both MEK and the Islamic Republic being really active on all the social media platforms with spreading their propaganda and adding Iran Revolution supporters to their platforms. And I also want to point out to those who don't know, as far as the Iranian people are concerned, they probably hate the Islamic Republic, but they really hate MEK too, because as far as they're concerned, MEK betrayed them twice.
Okay, thank you. Are there any super chats before we go to the next subject?
Okay, so no super chats, but I wanted to apologize to Amberly Rose, because she said, "You hurt my feelings, Armin. I'm sorry. I was like, the way I responded was mean. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I apologize." Okay.
Armin, you're a sweetheart.
I'll be nicer. I get passionate about this. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Next topic.
Okay. Next topic. Oh my God, Armin, you're fine.
Okay.
How that with higher education?
Hi, all again. Normally, I never like to talk about anything else but Iran, but I was half listening for a while to a conversation that was going on yesterday in the chat before you showed up, Armin. And it has really been on my mind, and it's really bothered me all night, all day. So I wanted to broach it here. And it was about doing harm to higher educational faculty in America. And so, I did look this up today. And what I found quite interesting was that this seems to be coming from both sides. I mean, I've seen some research done in 2023, for example, that this hatred of higher educational faculty originally stems from the far left, having to do with the cancel culture. But I also see, and I know from personal experience, that there is definitely some hatred coming from the far right. So I wondered if anybody would want to explain those perspectives to me, because again, I found that actually rather disturbing.
Okay. Jeffrey, you wanted to respond?
Referring to a conversation I was a part of. I got no problem sitting there knowing what I said. The universities that throughout the West and including the United States have been institutionally captured by radical left-wing ideology. It's proven under any number of different studies, pretty comprehensive, pretty conclusive. Finds its origins in Soviet active measures, and they are radical left-wing, and they operationalize their left-wing bias in a manner that is directly hostile to U.S. national interests and security. And yeah, everybody's done with all that shit. Those institutions, unlike people who want to throw those institutions out like with the baby with the bathwater, we need universities and higher education to train our people so that we're competitive in a post-industrial knowledge-based society and economy, not the least of which is things like artificial intelligence and other leading sectors. And I promise you, the patriotic bloc is not going to sit idly by and allow left-wing bags of shit to occupy those fucking institutions as a means and being gatekeepers there and misuse them as, I don't know, centers of gravity for sedition. Yeah, they need to go. Indeed, you can see evidence of the radical left that is institutionally captured, like universities, since the mid and late 60s, any number of ways. Right after the terrorist attack of October 7th against our Israeli allies, you had tens, if not hundreds of thousands of lunatics marching down the street, chanting about burning Jews in ovens and gassing them in fucking showers. And disproportionately, they were actually upper middle class douchebags at universities who went to Ivy League. There's a reason why I cited, say, the hard hat riots of New York City in the early 70s, because then when you still had blue dog Democrats, who are people who are still very supportive of America, albeit they different on how to get there, had had enough of privileged upper middle class limousine socialist bags of shit, doing things like attacking veterans coming back from Vietnam. They actually responded to those radical leftist douchebags in New York City with all the crap they were doing by beating the living shit out of them, by the living fucking thousands of them. And they fucking deserved it. I got no problem standing by what I said, Doc. Zero. The simple fact is this. The universities need to be liberated from the radical left-wing ideology that has tragically occupied them for, I don't know, decades, since the mid and late 60s. And by radical leftists who have used those universities, not only misused them and positioned themselves as gatekeepers, right, to disenfranchise anybody who doesn't jive with the radical left-wing ideology they've been brainwashed to subscribe to, also to use it as a center of gravity to engage in acts of political violence. Right after the terrorists, right after Charlie Kirk's assassination, tens of thousands of people openly stated on Twitter in the open that Charlie Kirk's family, his wife and his child, need to be kidnapped, raped, and murdered. Of that, roughly, I think if I remember correctly, 20,000+ of them being privileged, upper middle class, suburban white cunts in academia. So yeah, I don't back off from what I said at all. I've directly gone through that. I had to check my wife's car for bombs for 3 years because of crazy assholes at Syracuse University, and they got away with it. Yeah, so not shy at all. If it bothers you, oh, and not for nothing, there's no more equivalency between the right and the left. Zero. The contentious nature that tragically defines the domestic, sociocultural, and political environment finds its origins in the left's increasingly kinetically defined hybrid civil war against America. Now, I don't agree with, and indeed I'm the voice of restraint in a lot of the groups that you probably don't like. They're not the same. You can't, like the idea you want to morally flatten the difference between the left, the provocative radical left, and the co-radicalized right that's responding to decades of antagonism is so off the wall, intellectually dishonest, it's beyond belief. And not for nothing, it isn't the left that complained about cancel culture. It was actually the left that started cancel culture. So yeah, like that's another form of sociocultural and economic violence. The same radical left that oddly says they disagreed with sanctions against the Mullah regime, not because they cared about the disproportional effect that sanctions have on the most vulnerable of the society. Read like why I disagreed with sanctions. I support military intervention, which is what I had stated, say, in the panel that I was asked to be a part of in 2009 with Amir Fakhvar, in direct response to Iranian children showing in no uncertain detail via their sacrifice and blood that there's no connection between, say, the Mullah regime that illegally occupies Iran and Iranian people. So yeah, that's not the same underlying context as to why radical leftists who are directly organizational operationally tied to the Mullah regime and other Islamic fundamentalist terrorists and or are ideologically co-aligned disagree with sanctions. So you have no fucking compunction whatsoever about standing about right behind what I said. If you want to be concerned, suggest you be concerned by the same radical left-wing assholes that are punishing you because you a left-winger who dare disagree with the institutionalized mantra or the manifestation of that institutionalized bias by the fact that you support Iranian resistance and those left-wing bags of shit support the mullahs. I mean, that should be pretty much clear, right? Not real shy about who I am.
Okay,
That's
thank you,
not
Jeffrey.
That's not actually what I was asking. I mean, I agree with how we need to repair our institutions. We need to get institutions back to being institutions of learning, not institutions of coercion or manipulation. I do agree with that. What I'm referring to, and by the way, I would not call myself a leftist, not anymore. I took the red pill or the green pill or the purple pill or whatever pill. I don't know. I don't think I'm anything at this point. But what I'm referring to was the conversation about, like carrying sticks that, like hypothetically in Minecraft to do these boom booms onto universities, and how on earth would these people that are doing this even know who is who? You know what I'm trying to say? That's what I found very disturbing.
I don't I mean, I said you used to be a leftist up until you were, punished, institutionally punished for not walking lockstep with all the things that institutionalized left-wing biases that have hijacked our institutions of higher learning demand you follow. That's fine. In any case, I don't remember anybody talking about putting pipe bombs on universities. What I said was very clear, that if it was up to me, if I was sitting in President Trump's seat, those leftists would be purged from those universities, decisively so. Period.
Okay,
Well, but
Jeffrey,
that's-
thank you. I just want to let other people talk as well.
Sure, no problem.
Okay, thank you. Shauna.
I just I want to add some clarity because that was a very intense conversation. It was good, but I want to clarify. As passionate as Jeffrey might seem, as intense as that is, he's not kidding when he says he's the voice of reason, because there's people like me who literally want tanks through Harvard Yard, and when we say that, we're not joking. So Jeffrey is holding the line, and that's why he's so passionate, because there's a lot of us who just want to burn the institutions down and don't give a fuck anymore. I don't think that they can be saved. The restraint that I'm having is allowing people like Jeffrey to try. That's the restraint. And that is that's the line that the right is probably going to hold, is we're going to let them try. But it's not out of any love for these institutions. I don't give a fuck if they burn to the ground. I do not give a fuck if they burn to the fucking ground. People in my demographic were cutting their husbands down from trees because of what those fuckers did. So when I say, so as passionate as Jeffrey seems, he's not kidding when he says he's the moderate position. Like, we're not kidding when we say tanks through Harvard Yard. So I just want to put that out there. I know that was really intense, but I need people to understand that as intense as he's coming from, he is the moderate position and where the right is at with the institutions right now. So
thank you, Shanna, and I'm sorry for what you've been through. Roy. Is Roy here?
Yes, I see him.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I changed my picture. I don't know. I feel like everything I'm gonna say right now is gonna feel like an understatement. I've never been into an institution in America, so I don't know. I do know how it is in Israel, and I do know how it looks in America, and how, from a secondhand opinion from my sister, who is in Philadelphia, studying there. So I hear you guys. I hear your frustration, and I think there is a major problem, and I think it needs to be addressed. And I think there needs to be a bigger outcry. We need a bigger outcry, because it's not just about, oh, they hate the Jews, oh, they have problem with anti-Semitism in those institutions, oh, they use pro-Palestinians as corrosive measures. No, there's a really sick ideology sipping and going into all of those institutions that is very much anti-American. I mean, I'm saying it as, I don't care if, I do, right? I do care if they hate Israel and the Jews, of course, but I care more about them being anti-American. I mean, it is not just sickening, it is corrosive, and it's going to have major effect. We're already seeing the effects right now. The effects after in 10 more years are going to be devastating, because those people are going to go into politics, into journalism, and we're already seeing what's going on. So we need to be very much on it. We need to be rallying against it. I mean, seriously, going into I don't know, everything that is not physical violence, everything.
Okay, sorry, I'm just going to refer to, yeah.
I'm gonna refresh a little bit because the chat is not updating for me. And thank you. I see people. I see. Look at this appear in the chat. Okay, let me just jump right in. All right, I'm back. Is the chat? Okay, thank you to both the cat and Sapir coming on YouTube and telling me that I'm not seeing the chat. Okay, so Shauna, check your school messages, please. All right, what do we do next, Sapir?
Okay, Dejal.
Thank you. Yeah, I get where Hall is coming from here. She's not talking about. She's not defending these people. She's not saying that she actually supports these leftists or is even concerned about them. I think what it comes down to is that she's afraid of starting a fire that's going to get her burned as well, even if she isn't a leftist, which she's not. I've spoken to her, and I know that for a fact. So when she talks about or being concerned about people coming after the faculty and things like that, she simply said she's afraid that she and others like her will get caught up in the zeitgeist, regardless of people's intentions. Because oftentimes when you start a fire, you don't always necessarily you're not always necessarily able to control how it burns. That doesn't even mean you shouldn't start the fire. It just means you have to bear this in mind. And I think that's what she's talking about, and that's that. She just doesn't want to get caught up in this. She knows who these people are. She knows how they operate, and because they've come after her many times before, and she's just worried about what could come to pass with all of this, right? It's as simple as that. But on the other hand, Jeffrey's right as well. Jeffrey does not include you in this category. He does not believe that you're some leftist communist who's trying to destroy America at all. He's simply saying that what you're concerned about. We're at the point where people, quite frankly, just don't give a fuck anymore. And again, you deal with these people on a constant basis. They don't like you at all. They want people like you dead, just as much as they want us dead. It's as simple as that. Jeffrey's right. These people are seditious, and they commit sedition every fucking day, and tangibly so, for that matter.
We're running out of time.
Okay, I'm intangibly so. I mean, she's not academia necessarily, but take Medea Benjamin, for example, of Cold Pink. She has direct ties to Hamas. Many people in academia, left-wing academia, have tangible ties to terrorist organizations like Hamas. They're breaking laws all the time. I don't know why Trump isn't going hard on these people, quite frankly, to be honest with you, but he should, because they are breaking laws. They're working with terrorists, and this needs to be dealt with, not just here, but all across the West. We are dealing with a fifth column that is going to consume us if we do not wake up and take them down before it's too late.
Okay, thank you, Digel. Helda, do you want to say a sentence or two to close it?
No, I appreciate everybody's feedback. I think all of you know that I've had, my own issues. I totally get where you're coming from, but I think Dajal probably really summed up what I was trying to say, really well. So I appreciate it. And I appreciate all of you answering. And I appreciate Dajal for you popping in and helping out. And Jeffrey says he still wanted to respond.
Yeah, but I already closed response by the time you said
Just a
so.
quick one. Is that okay? Any quick
Okay.
one? Is that okay? Yeah, thank you. Is that okay?
Jeffrey, a minute.
Screen share I'm just going to show this as an illustration of what I mean. Just real quick.
Oh.
All right. Waiting for approval.
Oh wait, allow screen sharing. Okay, really quick.
This is what I mean by treasonous. The members of the North Korean nuclear weapons program was asked to attend Syracuse University at the time that I was there, when Maxwell School was run by a former Clinton's Undersecretary of Defense who so sucked at his job during his tenure. The North Koreans violated the 1994 Sunshine Plan Agreed framework, and the Mul regime agreed to the NPT. When I reached out to Obama's politicized DOJ, see anything wrong with this, to the head of the DPRK desk of the State Department's Bureau of Industry and Research, which is their intel branch. Yep, nothing wrong. Go ask the Department of Treasury. Well, I did, and it's indeed in violation of numerous federal laws. Nothing happened to these people. This is not something that's like, nebulous. This is real. And it's harming our efforts, including the same university had ties to the Mullah regime. So, yeah, it's not like I'm making shit up.
Okay, thank you, Jeffrey. Armin, super chats?
2 super chats. One from Casey. Casey saying, I changed my mind on thinking the joke was funny. Oh, wow. whenever people change their opinion, whether it's towards my opinion or even against my opinion, I get impressed, because people changing their opinions doesn't, even if it's again, even if it was used to be in agree with me and then it turned into disagree with me, I still get impressed that people could change their opinions, because it doesn't often happen. So that kudos to you, Casey. Honestly, even if you change your opinions against me, I would still be impressed. Good job having that ability to change opinions. And then Tolin, thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, this is for Amujev, saying, Amujev, Yuri Bezmenov, yes, Bezmenov's, okay. But Yuri Bezmenov's interview, do you think it's a good teaching material when it comes to leftist propaganda for us to understand it better? Okay, Amujev, sorry, in the middle of eating.
100%. Include to that, though, also Comrade J, that was the post-Soviet era version of Yuri Bezmenov and/or the Matrokin Archives. What the hell is his name? It'll come to me. Anyway, if you read Comrade J, it's based on one of the higher-ranking members of the FSB in a post-Soviet era and Putin's criminalized counterintelligence, and he outlines how Soviet active measures evolved in the post-Soviet era regarding Putin's strategic information influence operations. So yeah, Yuri Bezmenov is one of them. The Matrokin Archives is another, and Comrade J would be a third source.
Okay, let's move to the next topic. So Elisa with MECA agreement.
Hello, thank you. Yeah, that was really intense. I love the passion from everybody. So yeah, I saw this about the MECA agreement yesterday, and I got kind of excited about it just because of how it sort of reshapes the world trade as we know it. Is there a way, am I allowed to share my screen so everyone can see this?
Yes, we're going to allow screen sharing. So now you can screen share.
Okay, I want this one. Yeah. Okay. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay, so what's really cool about the MECA agreement is how this ties into the national security strategy that the Trump administration put out last December. So the national security strategy, that's an American first document, and it emphasizes peace through strength, and especially burden sharing and burden shifting. So the days of the United States propping up the entire world order like Atlas are over, and wealthy, capable partners must assume primary responsibility for security in their own regions. U.S. foreign policy will no longer be dominated by the Middle East. The region is treated less of a constant crisis driver because energy supplies have diversified and superpower competition dynamics have shifted, and key threats, notably the Islamic Republic, have been degraded. So with the MECA agreement, what this does is we have Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Pakistan are building their own defense architecture without Washington brokering it, while still remaining aligned with the U.S. and the wider sovereign network. That is key because the system is beginning to self-organize. How this maps: Saudi Arabia anchors the Gulf and Red Sea, Turkey connects Europe, the Mediterranean, and Black Sea, Pakistan opens into the Arabian Sea, Central Asia, and Asia L. Add Egypt and other regional partners, and you begin securing entire trade, energy, and defense corridors. Once those corridors stabilize, everything else can move through them: energy, rail, ports, manufacturing, data, capital, food, and technology. That changes the map. The old system concentrated power around choke points like Hormuz, Suez, Bab el Mandeb, and the Bosphorus. The emerging system builds redundancy around them: more routes, more partners, more production nodes, fewer single points of failure, and that's the key. No nation has to surrender sovereignty. No central moderator has to control every relationship. And America can remain aligned with the network without sitting in the middle of every agreement. The true value is without centralized moderation, dark forces are kept out of the equation. So this is really cool, right? Because this goes back to how Trump he's using the strategy of negotiating peace through shared economic interests, right? So so basically what he's been going through is he's been neutralizing the Islamic Republic's proxy forces to bring, and then you also have the Abraham Accords. So this Mecca agreement is actually going to provide some a parallel security track with the Abraham Accords, which is really cool as well. And this also ties in maybe tangentially, but it's part of the bigger picture. I put up an article about financial markets like a week or so ago, where it kind of lays out the sort of financial war that's running in parallel with the kinetic war. Basically, as far as U.S. Interests are concerned, Iran is not like the whole. How do I put it? Iran is being used as a lever, as a part of a larger war, but it's not like the whole thing. It's just like one piece of the puzzle as far as American national interests are concerned. So what this kind of signals to me, I've been thinking about this while you guys were talking. I think that when you combine the economic pressure from U.S. Sanctions and everything else that Trump has done up to this point, and then you also combine this with the fact that he said like 6 hours ago that we're not talking to Iran anymore. I think that's a very encouraging signal that this war is going to be coming to an end pretty soon here. And one more thing I just wanted to add, Dajal said earlier, he's like that as far as Trump being a deal maker, if he thinks he can make a deal with the Islamic regime, then he's a fool. And my response to that would be, who said that Trump is dealing with Iran? I think that there's many signals that indicate that there's a lot of people that Trump is talking to besides the Islamic Republic, and there's way more negotiations happening through back channels outside of just the Islamic regime. So that I'll stop. How do I stop sharing? I don't. Okay. That's so I'd love to get everybody's feedback and comments on that.
With regards to the Mecca deal, it's just hard. It's hard to take it seriously yet because it hasn't been tested, and a lot of people's suspicion is that once it gets tested, it shows that it's not there's not that much force behind it. That's my understanding. Anybody wants to put a 2 in the chat, because a lot of people are saying it's just again, I don't know, it has to be tested. But right now, for example, the Houthis are attacking Saudi Arabia right in the middle, right after even before the Incan disagreement was dried, and nobody's doing anything. Like, I don't see Pakistan and Turkey getting involved in that, and it's hard to imagine that they will. I don't know. Anybody thinks that this is going to be a meaningful? Okay, there we go. Sid put a 2.
Okay, Sid.
Yeah, I share your skepticism, Armin. I think we talked about it yesterday, actually. So yeah, this is being tested right away. We will see. I mean, I think that it has on paper, it has a potential to be a significant partnership, because you have Saudi capital, and you're putting that together with real military competence in Turkey and India, as Pakistan. But I would just say, I think actually that both that while the militaries in Pakistan and Turkey are significant and powerful, I think those countries have serious institutional problems. I think they're both kind of basket cases in their own way. And that sort of dysfunction is being masked by, relatively speaking, strong militaries. And my suspicion is that Saudi's involvement is a bad look for Saudi. I think it represents some level of dysfunction internally as well, and that these dysfunctional players kind of need each other. So again, this is a test. We'll see if Turkey and Pakistan decide to take action in Yemen, they can do something. Both these countries are very capable of doing something in Yemen and really changing the security architecture of the place, and that will cement it. But I'm very skeptical.
Okay, thank you, Sid. Roy, 1 minute.
Yeah, no, I'm sharing Sid's skepticism about the Mecca deal. I don't think that behind closed doors, none of the three trust each other. And it's not like, my God, that cat is gonna be the end of me. Jesus fucking Christ, sorry. He's got the zoomies. Anyway, behind closed doors, the Saudis don't trust Erdogan. They really don't trust the Pakistanis. But they all kind of need something right now, a kind of reassurance. And the deal is more of a paper thing than anything else. And it's kind of like trying to showcase a strength. It's kind of like just showing, like for the Pakistanis, it's showing that they don't want India to mess with them. Okay, for the Saudis, it's kind of like showing muscles against the Houthis, and for Erdogan, for Turkey, it's kind of like showing to Israel. You see, we also have friends in the Gulf states and not the Gulf states, but like the Saudis are our friends, and we're also strong. Yeah, it's not just Syria that we're friendly. Okay, sorry.
Okay, Shana, 1 minute for you as well.
Yeah, I'm optimistic about this, but very, very, very tentatively optimistic. I'm optimistic basically because I feel like I have to be, because it could be really great. But just from a human nature standpoint, I don't think it's going to go well. These people are very tribal. I see the vision of what he's trying to do, but human nature is what it is. These guys don't particularly like each other. They have their own internal issues. Yeah, so I think it's great in theory, but in practice, I have my concerns. And I think the problem is not even the plan or even necessarily the execution. I just think it's going to be the people who are doing that execution and that follow through that's going to be the problem. That's kind of my opinion.
Wait, like guys, we have a rule of English only for this community, and not only our mod is not enforcing the rule, she's actually participating in violating the rule. Wow, impressive.
I'm sorry, I had to call Guy gay. It's that's
Yeah,
that's
they're misspelling my name. That's basically what's going on there.
Okay, but guys, they have an English only rule here, so thank you.
Okay, with him being gay, Guy's pretty attractive.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know what's happening, but okay. All right.
Okay. Any super chats?
No super chats.
Okay, then let's move to Roy with the quid pro quo.
Guys, especially among all languages, when Jews are speaking in a way, like, see, exactly, Dajjal is saying, yes, Armin, they're plotting against us. I know we have the rule for everybody to use English, but especially the Jews, if they're using their language, we have to be more suspicious. That's something.
Wow, Armin,
yes.
That's discrimination.
I just
is this gonna be the 111th country we get kicked out of?
Yeah. Is this going to be the 111 country that you take over from, plotting against it?
I want Jews to take over.
Allegedly.
Economy would grow by
Allegedly. Okay, but really, let's move to the next
Okay,
topic.
okay.
Roy.
By the way, YouTube, I was joking. Don't strike us then. All right. Oh.
I'm just having a question.
Okay.
Oh, should I hit?
Go ahead. Roy.
I'm just having a question. Yeah.
Question?
So people are saying that Trump. Wait a second. Can you walk even? I don't know, just loudly. Thank you. My God. Okay, so I have a question. People are saying that Trump is extorting South Korea about what is he said. He said that, oh yeah, they want our troops, but maybe we should not give it to them. And then we should go away. So and I was thinking maybe it's not extortion, maybe it's quid pro quo. Just if we want to be, linguistically accurate. I'm just saying, if people want America to help them, maybe they kind of, when he says, hey, you guys, you got planes, and we want you to bomb Iran with us, like a bonding experience. Can you help us? Can you want to do it? Like instead of going fishing? And they're like, nah, we don't think so. So yeah, why should we help them with the border with North Korea? I don't get it. Maybe if you have something to say, Armin. If not, you can, just give it to Kare is just sitting there nicely, so beautiful, like a piece of garnet. Like, look at him. He looks like he's chiseled from the best of spaces, best of.
Okay.
I'm sorry, we have no simping rule. No simping
No
rule.
Okay.
This is a family-friendly show.
That's okay. Okay. No, but seriously, yeah, it's only extortion. When the United States is doing to South Korea is only extortion if American military protection was a natural right that every country is supposed to have, and then by withholding it, then that would be extortion. Yes, only with that assumption it would be extortion. Does that make sense? If every country has
Okay, Elisa, 1 minute.
Yeah, okay, Elisa, go on, Elisa.
Yeah, so again, going back to the national security strategy, Trump is not a neocon, right? He's not going off on nation building adventures. Trump is a sovereigntist, plain and simple. And Trump is no longer operating off of this, off of the post World War II rules based order, where America basically provides security for the whole entire world, and American taxpayers are going to shoulder all of the burden. No, Trump is demanding that countries who purport themselves to be allies, okay, step up, do your fucking part, and stop, getting this free ride off of the American taxpayer.
Yeah, perfectly said.
Okay, thank you. Armin, are there any super chats?
No, there are no super chats. Let's go to the next topic. Can we do it?
Okay, Kat.
Another topic. Kat.
Yep. Hello.
So wanting to strike. Okay.
Yeah. So by now I have two subjects, so I'll go through them quickly. There are unconfirmed reports, but the most confirmed, unconfirmed that there is, that yesterday, not even yesterday, for us it's like less than 24 hours ago, like at 4 a.m., Israeli jets have carried out airstrike targeting a runway in military airport in eastern countryside of Syria, Idlib, next to Idlib, which it's reported that Turkish forces are there, and they are saying, no, we don't have forces over there. Israel has not talked about it at all. Turkey has not talked about it, but it's been like pretty much like people are saying this. So I think it's a kind of a warning to Turkey by Israel, which I love to see because we haven't done this in a long time. This is something that used to happen a lot between wars or during times which were like, I don't know how to call it, and this shows that someone is on top of things, which I hope it's what it shows. The other short thing that I want to say is that yesterday I randomly opened up the Press TV channel, which whoever doesn't know, it's basically the Iranian government, the Islamic Republic state TV. And I saw a person called Garland Nixon giving an interview from the US. And it doesn't matter what he said. If it was an Israeli, he would be in jail. Just saying. Just saying. Talking to an enemy on TV during time, that's treason. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, Guy, 1 minute to respond.
It happened just like less than an hour ago, but the Prime Minister's office did respond in English in regards to Syria. And this is a public post that he made. Prime Minister's office: Israel and Syria agreed to a status quo in security matters, which Syria was on the verge of breaching by permitting Turkish troops to deploy at an airbase near Aleppo. Israel repeatedly warned Syria that such a deployment would pose a threat to Israel's security. Syria chose to ignore these warnings. Israel will not tolerate threats to its security and would welcome a return to the status quo. So it is explicitly now said that that's why, and that Israel is taking responsibility.
I really like that. That's a boss move. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, Shauna, 1 minute.
Oh, I really like it too, and I don't trust Turkey. And I know that they're a U.S. ally. They're my least favorite U.S. ally. That's how I feel about Turkey.
Okay, any super chats?
No super chats?
Then we are going to our last topic.
Okay. Yes.
Samantha, DSA, and Marco Rubio.
Ooh.
Samantha?
Samantha.
Samantha, you muted. Well, that sucks. Until I managed to get everyone.
Oh, there we go. Oh, she's typing.
Oh.
So there we go.
Okay. Okay. The DSA is currently accusing Marco Rubio of committing genocide against the Cuban people.
Hold on. Can you read that again? Because Dajjal had his mic open.
Yeah.
You go ahead.
Yeah. The DSA is currently accusing Marco Rubio of committing genocide against the Cuban people, and is unequivocally demanding the persecution of Marco Rubio for crimes against humanity.
For what? Why? What did he do?
He genocided them. Genocide has become the most meaningless term in warfare, apparently.
The Cuban people love Marco Rubio. So you're saying that the Cuban people love being genocided upon?
I mean, that's what Jews are, I guess, as well.
I mean, I guess I support this because it just shows how meaningless the word genocide has become. Just keep throwing it around. I mean, it makes it less effective against Israel if you keep throwing it around even more. But there's a whole bunch of twos in the chat, so let's go through the twos.
Yes. Okay. 1 minute, Shauna.
Every time I think the DSA can't get more radical and stupid, they somehow find a way. It's actually impressive. So I'm glad Samantha brought this up. We should actually just make sure that every voter in America knows that Marco Rubio, according to the DSA, is committing genocide.
That's actually really good.
Okay,
You know that.
Kathy?
No, wait, quickly. That's really good because they want to weaponize the word genocide. We should weaponize every time they say Israel committed genocide. We could be like, yeah, they think Marco Rubio is doing genocide against Cubans. Tells you what they know. That's great. We should use that against them. Okay, sorry, Kathy, go on.
So I will say thank you, Samantha, for bringing attention to this. Honestly, in my opinion, they're full of shit and they're weaponizing the word genocide. As a matter of fact, my family in Cuba do support Marco Rubio, and I know a lot of people other than my family inside Cuba and in outside of Cuba who support Marco Rubio. So as far as I'm concerned, they're talking out their ass.
Okay, Guy?
This is, and I think Sid mentioned this, and Sid, I'm sorry if I'm taking what you were going to say, but that would shorten the queue. So this is the consequence of what Sid was saying, is that the bar for genocide, because they tried to pin it on Israel, and they really believe it, is so low that now basically any level of warfare is going to amount to genocide based on those criteria. Because Israel is so far from committing a genocide that if Israel is a genocide and you're actually trying to be consistent, then just every amount of warfare is going to be genocide. And I'm here for it. I'm very happy about this news because it shows how ridiculous this whole thing is. So Sapir couldn't see, so now Sid is after me.
Okay, yeah. So I wanted to say, I think we all have to beware of ideologues who are so dedicated to their theory that they will take it to their own grave, essentially. And I think this is what's happening with the DSA. And I don't want to make this only about the right, about the left. I want to make this neutral. Okay. But what's happening with the DSA, with the left, in this particular example, okay, is the failure of their own policies. So I think that if I look at the DSA, if I look at their platform, it's essentially Castroism. It's essentially Chavismo. Okay, it's. I don't even think they're hiding it, right? So they admire these regimes that fail, and what they're very good at, okay, they're very good at deflecting the blame. So the failure of the revolution, the failure of the system to feed people.
Save time.
Okay, all right. Moving on.
Okay. Wow. Oh, my, sorry, Sid. Love you, Sid. Oh, that's harsh.
Shut the fuck up, Armin. Elisa, 30 seconds.
Oh wow. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I'll be quick. So one of my favorite YouTubers, Nuxanor, he loves to say this line, and so I'm going to repeat it for all of you. Apparently, these days, a genocide is when Hamas starts a war and Israel finishes it.
Thank you, Jeffrey. 30 seconds. Jeffrey.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. Yeah, I mean, again, there's a lot to be said about that, right? The role that both the radical left and co-radicalized right in response to left antagonism has regarding the role, like the impact they have on our society. That said, there's no more equivalency between those two. You cannot blame the recipient of 70 years of aggression for their response and say, well, you know, it's all equal but different. So, I mean, I would contend if you want to have any chance at de-escalation, that, like efforts at moral flattening or moral equivalency needs to be thrown out the fucking window, because that really irritates the shit out of those that have been on the receiving end of political violence, which would be the patriotic bloc, for like 70 years.
Okay, thank you, Jeffrey. One super chat, and Armin, then you go to break.
Thank you, Sapir. We got a super chat from Jasper saying, "Make weird eye contact, then you commit micro genocide." Oh wow! For now, coming soon, that will be full on genocide. And thank you, Jasper. Thank you for the super chat. By the way, I want to thank Sapir for modding, and I also want to thank Nail Bunny for modding because I forgot to thank her last time she was modding. So thank you, Nail Bunny, and thank you, Sapir. You guys are awesome. Thank you for modding. And let me actually stop the recording. And guys, for people who might be new here, Elisa, the conversation continues after I go. I mean, you guys know that. I'm just telling for the people on YouTube that you're missing out because they're going to keep talking after I'm gone. So, guys, the link to our discussion group is in the description. It's in the QR code in the top left. So we have these every single day. So consider joining. And I'll see you guys in the group call same time tomorrow. But people on YouTube, I'll see you in half an hour, or yes, in less than half an hour with Ali. So make sure you hit the bell notification so you don't miss that. And until then, Amazon Chai, Slava Ukrainia, Cuba Libre, Taiwan Jiayo, Long Live America, Javicha Payande, Iran. Mwah.
Bye, Armin. Go eat.
Bye.